Latest football news, engaging debates,
and fascinating opinions.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio's Fridays at 5 p.m. with me, George. As always, looking ahead to another week of football action we have here on Pitchside Talk this week. Hope you're all well. Hope you're having a fantastic week. We all are, because it is coming home, and we will talk about that later on. But we're slightly excited, just a little bit, not too much. But before we move on with today's show, I better mention our co-host and resident Ipswich Town fan. As always, he's a very happy Ipswich Town fan this week, which we'll get onto later on the show. It is Dan. Dan, how are you doing, mate?
I'm doing good. I don't think I've been this excited about football in so long. Both Ipswich and England. It's just everything's going according to plan at the moment.
Oh yes, there's always going according to plan, and that's what we love to see. So before we get on to what's coming up in today's show, I better mention the social medias. If not, I will forget and I'll be very annoyed with myself. Twitter is at Pitchside Talk. Instagram is at Talk_Pitch. YouTube and Mixcloud are both at Pitchside Talk. If you want to listen back to any of our previous shows or see anything else that we do on our YouTube Mixcloud, don't worry, head over there and you'll see it on there. So what is coming up in today's show? Well, we're going to be talking about Ipswich Town. They've been super busy in the transfer window since the last time we spoke. All the fans are in crisis mode. The season's over. We've made no signings. Ipswich Town have made some signings, and they're very exciting as well. And we're going to be talking about England versus Germany. Yes, the big game that happened on Tuesday. And, well, we'll get onto it, but I think a lot of people know what happened, but still, we'll get onto that a little bit later on. And we'll be talking about Euro 2020 in 2021. See who made the last 8 for this year's competition. So when we come back, we're going to be talking about Ipswich Town and what they've been doing in the transfer window. How exciting.
Stay up to date with the latest footy news.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio. It's Fridays at 5 p.m. with George and Dan as always. Now, before we move on talking about Ipswich Town this week, we've been very busy in the transfer window. I better mention the social medias. Twitter is at Pitchside Talk. Instagram is at Talk_Pitch. YouTube and Mixcloud are both at Pitchside Talk. If you want to listen to that back to any of our pre shows, do not worry, they're all up there on our YouTube and Mixcloud. Well, in the last time we spoke, me and Dan, we talked about Ipswich Town, and there was a few murmurs about transfers coming in. Nothing concrete, we could say, at the time, and fans were getting worried. They were panicking. They were going, oh my God, the season's over. What are we going to do? Like, they were screaming all sorts. But don't worry. Ipswich Town have had a very busy week in the transfer window. So I think we should just jump straight into this. And first up, after weeks of talks and speculation, Ipswich Town have landed their man in Raheem Harper from West Bromwich Albion. The 21-year-old, who's a box-to-box midfielder, has signed a 3-year deal with the club for about £500,000, potentially rising up to £1 million with add-ons and bonuses. Dan, Ipswich Town have finally landed their man in Harper, and what a signing have landed here. I think you can see how excited fans are to see Raheem Harper here. He's at the club. Paul Cook, he's really delighted that he's landed him. They've got it, but this is such a statement signing here because West Brom fans are not happy about him going, and you can tell. Like, I've now noticed it, like you're saying, you can tell when opposition fans not happy they let it go in a player to other club. Knows we've made a very good signing here.
Yeah, I think we haven't had that in a while, have we? Where other clubs are sad to see the players that Ipswich are signing. I think this is a fantastic signing, a really exciting one. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really know much about Raheem Harper before. I think I knew he was kind of a youngster in his West Brom academy, weren't he? Been on loan a couple of times, I think, to Blackburn and Birmingham. I think he made his debut in the Premier League, actually. So he's obviously rated very highly at West Brom, which is, really good to see. And I think we've seen quite a lot of West Brom fans saying that he's too good for League One, which is music to our ears, I think. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to see how he does. I think he's kind of the replacement for Dizelle. I think he's I think they're kind of similar players, from what I've heard from West Brom fans. So I guess Lee Evans is going to be that holding midfielder, and Raheem Harper's going to be kind of the box to box, which is going to be really good to see. So yeah, spending money again, maybe rising to $1 million, I think is great business from the departure of Dizelle, arguably replacing him with a better player, which you can't complain, can you?
No, you can't. I was actually about to ask you about that. Is this? It is. We can tell it is Dazelle's players, but do you feel that Ipswich Town have made a step here from selling Dizelle, who we know he's a good player, but they've gone from Dizelle to Raheem Harper, and the potential here for him to be such a fantastic player, it's on the cards, and it just looks so great to see that Ipswich Town are finally they're attracting the players who have got the potential to come to the club instead. We're having to find them and make them our own players through the academy. We're landing these players. That shows that the club is taking big steps forward here.
Yeah, I think the new owners, they know what they're doing, don't they? And they're not messing around at all. I think this signing is definitely a statement of intent that we want to be in the Championship next season. And I think some of these players that we're signing are with that in mind. And I think Dizelle leaving was sad, obviously, because he's one of our own, isn't he? And we know, as you said, we know how good he can be at times, but he's just had a disappointing season this season. Suffered with injuries before, and I think that move to QPR will be a really good move in his career. But I think the fact that he played so many games last year, we needed to bring in a replacement, because he was pretty much, in the squad every week, wasn't he? He played so many games. So yeah, I think a replacement was needed, and then to bring in a player who, has had Championship experience and Premier League experience, and has been suited to that as well. I don't think, I think it's a perfect replacement for him. And I think, as I said before, he'll kind of play the same role that Dizelle played. So I think it's a really exciting signing, and I can't wait for him to show what he can do at Portman Road, and hopefully have a successful time here at Ipswich.
Yes, I think everybody can't wait just to see him on the pitch. He's so excited to be here. I think that's what's really quite refreshing as well. He's excited just to jump straight into us. And well, it only took Ipswich Town another 24 hours, or actually, sorry, less than 24 hours, and a leaked tweet by accident to announce another signing coming here in Macauley Bonne. I have said that right, haven't I, Dan?
Macauley Bonne, you were close.
Okay, Macauley Bonne. Sorry, I'm awful at pronunciations. I'm very sorry. Just wait until we hit the next signing. It's going to be even worse. We signed him on a season-long loan from QPR. He was born in Ipswich, funny enough, and he was in the academy, but released at the age of 14. Sort of then went down to National League, proved himself there, then went to Charlton, had a good spell at Charlton, and then transferred to QPR last season, where he's struggled really, only 3 goals in 34 appearances, but mostly used as an impact sub here. Dan, an interesting signing here, I think we could say, from Town. They're looking to sort of bring in another striker. We know that Drynan, he's now gone to Leyton Orient. Jackson, he's trained with the under-23s. So theoretically, there is only one striker at the club, or 2 now if you count Macauley Bonne. But can he add that impactness that we need? And also as well, he's got Championship experience here, and he's a proven goal scorer as well with Charlton. So surely this is actually, on paper, quite a good signing.
Yeah, I think it's a good signing. I think there's always a risk, obviously, with a player coming in on loan. But I think this is the type of player that, if he has a good spell at Ipswich, is who will sign going into the Championship. I think that's probably on the cards, as we're not really being restricted on funds, are we? So I think, yeah, this is a smart signing from the club. I think the fact that he's from here and he supports the club is going to be a major plus. A player that supports Ipswich is going to put in that extra effort that he needs to. And as you said, he's he's had a tough time at QPR, but I think that's mainly because, there's two players ahead of him, Lyndon Dykes and Charlie Austin. They're their two main strikers, aren't they? So he hasn't really got a look in. Had a good spell at Charlton, and I remember him scoring tons and tons of goals for Leyton Orient in the National League. So yeah, I think he can come in and score goals and hopefully make an impact. I don't know whether he's going to be starting every game or whether he's going to be an impact player like he is at QPR. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether we sign him at the end of his loan, because I think that's the kind of thing that we could do if he impresses.
Yeah, that hasn't been talked about actually on the cards, possibly
No.
him coming back. But do you feel that this is also as well, because he's come from QPR? Do you think it's a little bit of QPR they've actually let him go, just sort of as a little bit of a sweet deal here because we sold the Zell to QPR? Do you think that's maybe why he's come here as well?
Maybe. That could be a reason. But I think Paul Cook has kind of, and Mark Ashton have kind of outlined what players they want quite early. That's what it seemed like to me. So maybe he was in their plans from the start, but I think I just think QPR don't really need him at the moment, just because of the depth they have in that area. So I think sending him out on loan is probably the best move for QPR for him. So maybe he is in, QPR's plans going forward from this season. But yeah, I think it's a smart move from both clubs, and I think Macaulay Bonne is going to be, really happy to play here as he supports the club. So yeah, I think it's a great move for all round, I think.
Yeah, good move, I think, for all parties, because QPR, if is don't want to sign him, they're going to get a player back who's had experience and he's had time to score goals and all that. So it's a win-win really for all parties here. And well, we've known for a few months now that Ipswich Town have been searching for a new number one after Holy's disappointing end to the season and Cornell being released, who's actually, fun enough, signed for Peterborough as well on a 2-year contract. Shame that we had to release him. We didn't get any money for him. Massive shame. But Ipswich Town, they finally found a new goalkeeper who has arrived now at Portman Road. And I'm so sorry, but I am going to absolutely butcher this name. I think it's Václav Halanki. Am I right? Sort of?
Yeah, I don't think anyone really knows how to pronounce it yet. So, yeah, let's just say it's that for now.
What would you say, Dan? What would you say?
Václav Halanki. That's what I'd say. But
okay,
I don't know. I don't know either yet. So I'm sure we'll be. I'm sure we'll let. We'll know soon enough.
I think I'd tell you something how I feel very sorry for Paul Cook. He's got to try and say it in a Liverpudlian accent. God.
And we know what his voice is like as well.
Yeah, we go high pitch to low pitch very quickly. But still, Ipswich Town, they've signed a new goalkeeper in, I'm going to say Halanki. I'm just going to say Halanki. Is that, yeah, that's fine.
Fair enough, yeah.
I'm sure you wouldn't mind.
No, it's fine.
He's signed from Salford City. The 30-year-old goalkeeper signed a 3-year deal for an undisclosed fee. And last season, oh my word, he has had a season and a half last year. 53 appearances for Salford, keeping 24 clean sheets. Salford finished 8th and he kept 24 clean sheets. Madness. He won League Two's Golden Glove. I cannot get out my words here. Golden Glove. He's also named Salford's Player of the Year and also was named in the League Two Team of the Season as well. And he helped Salford win the Papa John's Trophy, saving a penalty in the penalty shootout. Apparently, he's a penalty specialist, apparently, but that's what people say. Dan, what a blinder it's a town have pulled off here, signing Halanki from Salford City. He hasn't been talked about. This is the funny thing. He was only sort of mentioned a day before he actually signed, but what we're seeing here on paper is, and what I've watched through the videos and that, he is going to be a top-class goalkeeper. And that's something that Town have really needed. I know Paul Cook has highlighted that he wants a solid number one. He wants a solid back line, a solid number one. And I think he has landed the perfect person for this job.
Yeah, you definitely think so, wouldn't you? And I think the bar is set high at this club because of what we had with Białkowski, who was, absolutely fantastic. So I think the bar is super high, but I think this this signing is fantastic. You know, when you look at what he did last season with Salford, the amount of clean sheets he made in a team that finished 8th in the league is, you know, it's mental. I think, you know, winning all them awards as well is great to see. I've watched compilations on YouTube of some of his saves. I'm super excited with this one. Yeah, I think a new number one was needed. I think I'm not going to say Holy's a bad goalkeeper. I don't think it's hard to say, because I think I've never seen a player so tall but not. He doesn't command his box, even though he's taller than every single person, you know, every footballer in the country probably. He doesn't command his box enough for me. So yeah, I think we haven't really seen if he's a shot stopper at all, really, because I thought our defence was probably the best part of our team last season. I think he's been prone to not diving enough, and there's a lot of that last year, wasn't there? So I think him being, well, I'm guessing he's going to be our number 2 next year, and having a keeper who, you know, has got all the attributes for me to come in as our number 1 is really exciting to see. And you saw with the Salford fans in their comments, they were like absolutely distraught that he was gone. So again, that's one of the things I really like to look at, because I think with Cornell, when we signed him, it was kind of like, hey, he's an okay keeper, but he's not going to be your number 1. But this one it's just really exciting, isn't it?
Do you thrive on other fans' sadness here, can I ask?
I do, yeah.
This seems to be a new common theme going around here.
Yeah, it's just really good to see. I think it's just because we haven't noticed that before. It's just foreign to us, really, that we're signing players that other clubs want. You know, it's been so long since it's been like that. So yeah, I'll probably say that quite a lot with signings coming up as well. But
yeah,
you know.
Well, everyone, they kept their fingers crossed that there would be one more signing after Halanki. And well, their dreams did come true, with Matt Penny signing on a 2-year deal after being released from Sheffield Wednesday. He's signing on a free. Dan, another very exciting player coming to the club. He plays left back or midfield, primarily left back. He had a tough spell with Sheffield Wednesday last season. Didn't make many appearances, only 12 all last season. But Sheffield Wednesday had a dreadful season themselves, really, now in League One. But another player, he looks very good. Paul Cook, he's very excited to have him at the club. And also as well, he sort of said that he's got lots of good attributes for the modern day fullback. So next season, Kay Vincent Young, Matt Penny, it's going to be brilliant, isn't it?
Oh, do you know what? On paper, that just looks so exciting, doesn't it? It really does. Oh, I can't wait for it. Yeah, I think this is another really good signing. Again, a player that I don't know much about. I know he was a Sheffield Wednesday player, and I think we can't take what happened last season. You know, I don't think we can look at that, because I think Sheffield Wednesday had a really, really disappointing season. Obviously, finished bottom of the league, didn't they? It's a bit more than disappointing. It was It was terrible. So I think having a player, I think he's 23 as well, isn't he? Which is a really good age for a fullback, and I think he's going to give Kenlock a run for his money if Kenlock is still going to be at the squad as well. Because I don't know if he's a kind of pacey fullback. He seems. I think I'm not sure if he's more of an attacking fullback, but I think the fact that he can play midfield kind of suggests that he is that type of player that can get forward. So having Penny and Vincent Young on the wings pushing forward, I think, you know, would be so dangerous. And I think if we have, you know, Burns on the right hand side of midfield and then get another left winger with pace, it's going to be I'm really glad we've got a manager in that loves pacey wings, because it's just I love it. I'm super excited, and hopefully he can come in and bring that pace down that wing as well on the left hand side of the back four. So yeah, another smart signing, and on a free as well. after the contract expired, and another player I'm excited to see at Portman Road. Let's go.
Yeah, same here. Well, he's also got experience. He's been loaned to Bradford City. He only made one appearance there in League One. He's made 2 then for Mansfield Town the next season, went on loan. But he went to St. Paul's in Bundesliga 2. And he made 17 appearances, and it's his only ever goal he scored. And I think it was a long shot as well, funny enough. So he's got experience all around. And well, that is basically everything for Ipswich Town this week. By the time you hear this, there might be another signing. I'm very sorry. We had to record this on another day because of me. I'm so sorry. But everything else is now in. It'll be recorded live on the Friday. But unfortunately, we had to record a day early. So there probably is another signing. And we'll probably be kicking ourselves going, oh, God, we could have talked about that. But
yeah.
It is one of those things. But when we come back after that very exciting Ipswich Town theme there, we're going to be continuing that theme. As England, they took on Germany, a clash between 2 major European countries in Euro 2020. Oh boy, what's going to happen next? Come on, you 3 Lions.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio. It's Fridays at 5 p.m. with me, George, and Dan, as always. Now, before we move on, talking about England versus Germany this week. Yes, England versus Germany. I'm scared already, and I haven't even talked about it. I better mention the social media. Twitter is at Pitchside Talk. Instagram is at Talk_Pitch. YouTube and Mixcloud are both at Pitchside Talk. And don't worry, if you missed anything from today's show, you missed a talk about Ipswich Town in the transfer window being super busy. After fans were complaining that they were scared that the season was all over because they ain't making any signings. Don't worry. 6 p.m. on Friday on YouTube and Mixcloud. The show will be re-released so you can listen back to it live whenever you want to. You can listen to that bit if you want to. It's your choice. But on Tuesday, we saw a clash between 2 major European countries, which has seen many memorable moments throughout the years in international tournaments. Yes, it was England versus Germany facing off at Wembley in front of 45,000 fans, but there was only 41,000 in the end. Not too sure where the other 3,000 odd disappeared to in the last 16 of Euro 2020. And it is coming home this summer after an electric win, a 2-0 win over Germany. The first time England had beaten Germany in an international tournament since 1966. And we all know what happened that day. We lifted the trophy. Dan, what a win. We needed that win. That's lifted, I think, the spirits of everybody in the country. But it seems like the stars are slowly lining up for England here. We're beating Germany. It's coming home, isn't it? It's got to be coming home now. We must be believing it.
Yeah, we have to, don't we? I mean, I said last week, if we can beat Germany, we've got an easy road to the final. We've done that.
Oh,
I think I think last night I was just in disbelief that we actually beat Germany, because it's been, think about the how many times we've gone out to a German win. So many times it's happened, but finally we got our revenge. And as you said, it's a fantastic win. It really is. I think the performance was. I think the first half was kind of, it was a bit dull, wasn't it? Nothing, not really. There was chances, but nothing much really happened. It was kind of even. But I think that's what we expected, wasn't it? I think going into half time at 0-0 was kind of what everyone thought would happen. But I think we were absolutely excellent second half. I really do. I think we pressed that German team really well. I think before the game, I think I was kind of expecting us to go for it at the back, because I think, is it Kimmich and Goossens on them 2 sides for Germany?
Yeah,
they really like to push forward, don't they? So I think having them win backs really helped us in that kind of formation against the Germans. So yeah, I think second half we were brilliant. I think, Grealish came on again and changed the game, which I'm absolutely ecstatic about again. And it was just what a night it was for English football. It gives the whole nation hope, doesn't it, that we can actually do it this year. And I think this is the biggest chance we've had in so long to get to the final. Who that'll be against, we'll wait and see. I mean, we've got tough games coming up. We've got to not get too over. You know, we can't get too excited, can we, for the final already? Because you know, there's still tough games coming up. I think that Ukraine game is not going to be as easy as people think. But we can hope, can't we? It's a huge chance, and let's go. It's coming home.
Yes, it's a huge chance. Now that win, I think we can say it's Gareth Southgate's biggest result as England manager, ending that 55-year wait, beating Germany, also ending his 25-year of hurt. Really, you know, he missed that penalty in Euro '96 in the semi-finals in that shootout versus Germany, which he actually talked about and said that, you know, I can't. That's, you know, the pain's still going to be there, but I'm so happy I've created some memories for new people that we've beaten Germany. But does this win here silence his doubters? Because we know there's plenty of doubters around everything. There's always doubts around Gareth Southgate, you know, because he hasn't delivered in those big games. You know, the World Cup 3 years ago in the semi-final, struggled to deliver there. The Nations League as well, struggled to deliver there. And just in general, we haven't played big sides, but he's put his demons to bed. And also England has as well by beating Germany. This never happens. Like, the last time I think we beat them was Euro 2000 in an international competition in the group stages. That's bonkers.
Yeah, it never happens, does it? And I think Gareth Southgate is, I think he's criticised just because of he likes to play it safe. I think he's quite a defensive manager, and he likes to play it safe. So I think when teams are put out, it's not really who we want to see as England fans, is it? We want to see, I think against Czech Republic, we wanted to see Sancho. He put Saka in, and we were like, why has he done that? But we were proven wrong. This team he put out against Germany, you know, 3 at the back, people were like, why has he done that? We need to just go for it. He proved us all wrong. So yeah, I also think it's the fact that he hasn't really, we don't turn up in the big games, as you said, usually. I think if we come up against a team that are half good before this German game, obviously, we kind of struggle and bottle it. But obviously this game has, you know, silenced the doubters, hopefully, because I still think he's the right man for the job. I think he's got his faults. I think every manager has, but I think he is the correct man to take England, hopefully, to a Euro final. I think that'll be fantastic for the country in general, won't it? But yeah, I understand why people doubt him, because sometimes I don't agree with the players he plays or the tactics he chooses, but you know, he's proven in this tournament that he's still got it, and we've just beaten Germany, for God's sake. I mean, you can't complain, can you?
No, you can't complain when we beat Germany. But before the game, as you sort of mentioned a little bit earlier on, the lineups were revealed, and Gareth Southgate converted his side into a back 3 instead of a back 4 to combat Germany's formation, which worked to perfection, really. We played the back 3 before. We've seen it in the World Cup 3 years ago. We played that back 3 and it worked very well. Is this the style we're now going to see going forward into the quarterfinals? We're playing this back 3. It's working. But as sort of fans were quite concerned, there was 7 defensive players on the pitch and only 3 attacking, really. And that's excluding Jordan Pickford here, but 7 defensive players. That's a little bit conservative. And we always talk about, you know, it's conservative, but it works. So surely we should just relax and watch it.
Yeah, maybe. I think obviously it worked, and I think he kind of set this up to combat the Germans, because they have they're dangerous on the attack, aren't they? They have some dangerous players. So I think going to a back 3 was just to combat that, and it worked. So whether he'll stick with that for the Ukraine game, it will be definitely interesting to see if he sticks with it or goes back to a back 4, because I think in the group stage with a back 4, we didn't play badly with a back 4, but I feel like we we lacked a little bit of energy with the back four because we were just passing it around. I think if we've got fullbacks, I think Shaw is good on that left-hand side as a fullback. I think Trippier is good on that right-hand side as a fullback. If they can push forward, I think that really works in this side. So I'd really like to see us play that back three against Ukraine. But whether that was just to combat a good German side, it'll be interesting to see whether he reverts back to a back four for the Ukraine game, who, they're not, you wouldn't say they're as strong as Germany, but they have made it to a quarterfinal. So
yes,
it was. Yeah.
That's the thing. What do you think there'll be a back three then, or a back four then? I'm going to ask you.
I think he'll stick with a back three just because it works so well against Germany. I think he'll probably stick with the back three. But then I don't think I'd be surprised if he goes for a back four, because I think we've seen both of them work in points and games. But yeah, I don't think you should change your tactics too much going into a quarter-final. So yeah, I expect a back three against Ukraine.
Well, fair enough then. Well, we've got to talk about the England players, and all of them played absolutely well against Germany. But two players who have really made their mark in this team and also in defence and out throughout the whole tournament is Jordan Pickford and Harry Maguire, both been very solid in defence. Pickford, he looks really rejuvenated in this England side. I think he was questioned coming into the tournament with his tricky sort of time at Everton this season. Hasn't been smooth sailing for the Everton number one goalkeeper, but in England he absolutely looks rejuvenated. Looks like he's putting off some fantastic saves yesterday, denying Kai Havertz, also Timo Werner as well. He looks very rejuvenated in that Gareth Southgate side. But for Maguire, who's still recovering from that injury, he is absolutely playing out of his skin, being absolutely solid at the back. It shows really how important these two players are to Gareth Southgate's side here, because he's putting a lot of trust into them. Two players who have not been in the greatest of form. Maguire probably a little bit better form than Jordan Pickford, but without these two players here, England would be nowhere without them, perfectly honest, because they are really the backbone, and they're the ones holding us all together at the back, really, in his strong defensive side.
Yes, they are. Yeah, and they're both having really good tournaments, and that it shows when we haven't even conceded a goal, which you never see from England's side, do you? You never see this many clean sheets usually in a tournament, so it's really good to see. I think Pickford, some of the saves he's been making have been absolutely fantastic. The Havertz one, maybe that was going to go over, but it was still fantastic reactions from him. I think he did have a lot of doubters, didn't he? He shouldn't be number one in the Euros before we went into it. But again, he's proved people wrong, which I think a lot of the players in this England side are doing in this tournament. So yeah, I'm really glad he's having a good tournament so far. Obviously, Maguire as well. I think he's just Southgate's first choice, isn't he, in the team sheet? And he's been solid, like he should be. I think he's a really good central defender, and he's been really solid so far since he's come in. And considering he had quite a bad injury and has been out for a while, it's really good to see that he's come in and fit into that side well. So yeah, I think they're crucial players to this England team, and we've kept clean sheets in every game. So I mean, it shows, doesn't it?
It shows that the trust he puts in. Also for two more players who Gareth Southgate has put lots of trust in and signs their doubters yesterday. It was Harry Kane and Raheem Sterling. Harry Kane, he's had a very tough time in the Euros, not really struggling to make his mark, I think we can say, in his England side, and he has been questioned, why is he playing? Well, yesterday he paid that trust and he scored the second goal in the Germany game, which sort of sent England into absolute limbs, I think we can be perfectly honest to say. And also Raheem Sterling scoring once again. He's now England's top goal scorer. I think he's got 3 goals now in 4 games. People keep questioning, why is he starting? But I think that needs to stop now. That has to stop, because he's absolutely on fire for England. He might not be for Man City, but for England he is. But for these two players here, Gareth Southgate's putting that trust in, and it's getting repaid back in absolute gold here, because they're scoring the goals and England are progressing with these two.
They are, yeah. It shows how crucial they are to this squad. they're always in the right place at the right time, aren't they? I think Sterling, he's prone to keeping the ball too long, that's for sure. We've seen that quite a few times. But, he's proven that he can be a fantastic goal scorer. Where would we be without him in this tournament so far? He's pretty much, he's been on the end of absolutely everything. The pockets of space he finds and creates is really good to watch. So, yeah, I think we should stop doubting him now. He's had a fantastic tournament so far. Let's hope it continues going into the quarterfinals. Also, Kane, I think he's had a quiet tournament by his standards, but it's not all about goal scoring with him, I don't think. You see him come, drop deep quite a lot, don't you? And I think that's how he plays for Tottenham. Maybe he did that a little bit less against Germany. I didn't really see him drop too deep against Germany. But, that's kind of the way he plays at Tottenham and is doing that for England. But I think he brings something to the team. He's such a good goal scorer, isn't he? And he was going to score eventually. And I know it was kind of put on a plate for him by Grealish. And obviously the Sterling one was put on a plate for him with Shaw. But these players are always in the right place at the right time when you need them, aren't they? So you can't complain if they're scoring goals. And I think hopefully this will set Harry Kane going with more goals in this tournament, because, I don't think we'd be where we are without these two players.
No, it would be. Well, without Raheem Sterling's goals, I don't think it would be outside the group stages, to be honest.
No.
we wouldn't be anywhere. Actually,
no.
We'd be on 3 points. And we would be possibly the other side of the draw or even out. So,
yeah,
next to his goals, he has saved England's bacon. Well, now for Gareth Southgate and his England squad, the focus now turns to Saturday's quarterfinal in Rome versus Ukraine. Down up next, it is Ukraine, who beat Sweden 2-1 in extra time on Tuesday night. They've reached the quarterfinals for the first time in the country's history. Yes, I am correct. In the country's history, that only ever made it to the group stage, has never qualified out. For Ukraine, they're living in dreamland here. They did get through the third place rule. They had the best third place results. It's confusing. I don't really understand it. But going to this game for England, compared to Germany, it's an easier game on paper here. But it's still going to be a very tough match because Ukraine have made to the quarterfinals, which it is deserved. And they want to continue that little fairy tale they're on because, as we've seen already in the Euros, anything can happen here.
Anything can happen. And I don't think we should go into this game thinking we're easily going to win it, because it's going to be a tough game. But on the other hand, you'd say it's still an easier game than Germany, and it's definitely a game that we could win with the confidence our players have, the form that they're in, and the results they're putting on the table. Is you go into it with England favourites all the time, wouldn't you? So I think we'll be fine. I really do. I just think our defence is solid at the moment. I don't think Ukraine have enough really going forward to beat our defence. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but from what I've seen with our back, well, it's been back four in the group stage and the back three in the Germany game. It's so solid at the moment that it's we're making it difficult for teams to beat us. Really, really difficult. So I think we'll win the quarterfinal. I don't think it'll be a high scoring game, because I think it'll be another one where Ukraine will sit back probably quite a bit, and we'll find it hard to break them down. But I think we'll get that one goal, and we'll probably get through with a 1-0 win, which I think everyone will take, won't they?
Oh, we will take that. As long as it's a semi-final, we'll absolutely take it. Well, let us know what you think. What's going to happen between Ukraine and England tomorrow night? Let us know in the comment section below, or on our social medias. Let us know what you think will happen tomorrow night. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about who made it to the last 8 of the Euro 2020 in 2021. We'll have some mouth-watering ties and also some very, very big shocks on the way. Don't go anywhere.
Pitchside Talk, footy debate from the Premier League Outback.
Hello and welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on iRadio. It's Fridays at 5 p.m. with me, George and Dan, as always. Now, before we move on, talking about Euro 2020 in 2021. I better mention the social media. Twitter is at Pitchside Talk. Instagram is at Talk_Pitch. YouTube and Mixcolour both at Pitchside Talk. And don't worry, if you missed anything from today's show, do not worry. 6 p.m. on Fridays, they will be up on the YouTube Mixcolour, so you can listen back to them at whatever point you want us to. If you want us to talk about England or about Ipswich Town this week, do not worry. They'll be up 6 p.m. on Fridays. Now, the last 16s of the Euro 2020 has provided fans and, well, everybody with so much action, mouth-watering ties, some big shocks this tournament, and we will see some new champions this year. Little spoiler there. I'm so sorry about that. But let's look at the results from the last 16, and we start off with a 4-0 victory for Denmark versus Wales. Italy, they won 2-1 against Austria. Czech Republic did a massive shock and knocked out Holland 2-0, and Belgium won 1-0 against Portugal, knocking the defending champions out. Then moving on to Monday, Croatia, they lost 5-3. Oh, 5-3, sorry, I can say that right. 5-3 to Spain in extra time. France, they suffered a shock. They lost to penalties on Switzerland, 5-4 in penalties after a 3-3 draw thanks to extra time. Kylian Mbappe missing a penalty. Oh, my word. England, they won 2-0 against Germany. And then Sweden lost 2-1 to Ukraine. Now, the first quarterfinal clash we have in Euro 2020 in 2021 will be Switzerland versus Spain. Yes, Switzerland have shocked the whole world and knocked out the World Cup champions France on penalties after Mbappe's penalty was saved in sudden death. Switzerland, they were only a few seconds from being knocked out, eliminated, but they pulled off a miracle. And this is why we love football. Also reaching winning their first ever knockout game since 1954. So they ended that long drought. For Spain, they were involved in an 8-goal thriller, which saw them reach, had to play against Croatia in extra time, using it to win that. Dan, both sides are involved in thrilling games. I think probably the best in European Championship history. Also shocking the world in process. But this is going to be such a tough game to predict here.
It is going to be a tough game. Obviously, you'd think Spain going into it were favourites, but I think Switzerland showed what a great team they are in that France game, coming back from 3-1 down, and then winning on penalties is a fantastic result for them, and a massive achievement to get to a quarterfinals. So it's not going to be a easy game to predict, but I think Spain will just have enough to get through it. I think Switzerland, they'll put up a really good fight, I think, and it'll be a close game. But I think Spain will get through to the semi-finals in this one.
Yeah, at least you understood what I said there, because I absolutely mucked in my words there.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
I was all over the shop. I didn't know what I was saying. I mean, we had so much football, so many goals. I didn't know what to do. There was too many goals. I think 14 between those two games. Absolutely madness. Well, two of the favourites and the two biggest international sides left in the competition will clash in Belgium and Italy. Dan, both sides here have shown their dominance in the group stages, making people really stand up and take notice of them, but had very tough last 16 games. Italy having to use extra time against Austria to beat them. They didn't even score a goal in 90 minutes. That's a bit shocking by them. But Belgium, they only had one shot on target, which was the goal. Beating Portugal. Portugal really dominated that game. Surely, with a heavyweight clash, surely it's going to be a game to remember for years to come. But who's going to be the standout team in this game here?
Yeah, I think another hard game to predict, and it's really interesting because I think in the group stage these two teams were the standout performers, weren't they? But then going into the round of 16, they both found it tough to get past their opponents. I think, as you said, Belgium in that game, Portugal. I think Portugal would go, after that game would be really disappointing, because I think they were, really dominating at times. I think Italy, it was quite a dull game until full time, wasn't it? I think Austria, they just missed out with the closest of offsides, didn't they? Arnautovic put that header in that was just inches offside. So it was really interesting to see that. Hopefully this game will be really good, and it's two of the favourites, so we're hoping for a classic. I think it's so hard to predict, but I think it's going to be a close game, and I think Belgium will just scrape this one, and I think it'll be a Belgium-Spain semi-final.
Oh, interesting there. Now moving on to the next tie, and it's a clash between the underdogs and the fairy tale team at the moment. As Czech Republic, the underdogs, they pulled off a shock win over the Netherlands, knocking them out in a 2-0 victory. And Denmark, they ran absolutely riot around Wales, winning 4-0. Dan, this tie is going to be so hard to predict here, really, because both sides have won the hearts of people, really, across, I think, the world, we could say. Unfortunately, what happened with Denmark, Christian Eriksen, luckily he is getting better and his recovery is going well. And Denmark have thriving off that. They really had a tough start. Now they're really sort of kicking into gears. We saw against Wales, absolutely just tarnishing them, really. But for Czech Republic here, an absolute underdog story. Nobody expects them to get this far in the group they were in. And they're here in a quarterfinal of the Euros.
Yeah, this is a really interesting game. Denmark, what a performance against Wales. Is absolutely brilliant performance to score 4 against them, against a Wales side who, after 2016 and them getting through to the round of 16, you thought this could be another 2016 tournament for them. But what a performance from Denmark. And Czech Republic as well, as you said, underdog story. I think they were top going into the last game of the group stage. They finished third, but now in a quarter final. So massive achievement for them, knocking out the Netherlands, who you'd think would at least get to the quarterfinals with the squad they have. So yeah, they'd be delighted with that. It's going to be. I think this is another game that's difficult to predict and will be close. I think that's these 3 games are like that. But I think Denmark are just going to have enough to get past Czech Republic. So I think it'll be Denmark in a semi-final.
Oh, interesting. So you're going for a Denmark-England semi-final because we spoke about England earlier on.
Yeah.
Very interesting there. So let us know what you think. Who's going to be making the semi-finals this year for the European Championships in 2021, not in 2020, even though they're called Euros 2020. Very confusing. And that is everything we have for today's show. We've unfortunately gone into extra time. The referee is about to blow his whistle now for full time, and we're going to be knocked out of the tournament, and Liz isn't coming home, unfortunately. Dan, I want to thank you very much for being on the show. As always, I will possibly see you next week, won't I? I can't remember my days. I should see you next week, shouldn't I?
We'll see. There might be an injury or something coming up, or suspension.
You haven't been suspended, have you? Have you been minding around Ipswich Town because of the new signings?
Maybe. There might. We'll see. I might get a suspension.
We will see. Well, I want to thank you very much for listening to the show today. So social medias, I better mention them. Twitter, it's at Pitchside Talk. Instagram's at Talk That's Pitch. YouTube and Mixcloud are both at Pitchside Talk. And don't worry if you missed anything from today's show. Don't worry, it'll be up in a few minutes on YouTube and Mixcloud. So I've been George as always. We'll see you next week. He's been Dan as well. We'll see you next week. And ciao.
See ya.
The whistle has been blown for full time. Tune in next week for another jam-packed show.